Hello again. In this lesson, we will be learning to create pivot charts. When it comes to data analytics, pivot charts are very important as they allow you to easily analyze, understand, and validate the data. Since we already know how to automate the creation of pivot tables, our next step is to automate the creation of pivot charts. For that, we will keep using the pivot module we created previously, and here we are going to add a new sub-procedure which name is going to be chart. We are now going to declare our variables. For that, we are going to add a comment here, declare variables, and then we're going to set dim SD, which stands as source data, as string. Then we're going to assign a value to this variable. So we're going to say here assign value to variable, and here we're going to say SD is going to be equal to single quote between quotation concatenated with sheets between parentheses. We're going to provide the name of the worksheet, which is pivot table in this case, dot name. We are going to concatenate this with a single quote again, and then here we're going to say between double quotation, we're going to concatenate it with the exclamation point. Then here we're going to concatenate this with the range that we're going to use to build the pivot chart. So here we're going to say range, between parentheses we're going to say A5, comma range A5. Then here we're going to say dot end, Excel down, and then here we're going to say again dot end, Excel to right, and here we're going to say dot, and since we're going to continue writing code in the next line, we're going to add an underscore. Here we're going to say address. Between parentheses we need to define the style, so we're going to say reference style. This is going to be equal to Excel A1. The reason we're doing this is because we want to grab the source data dynamically. Using the source data, we are going to create a pivot chart. So for that, we are going to add a comment here, create 3D pie chart, and then we're going to say active sheet dot shapes dot add chart. Between parentheses, we need to define the type of chart that we want to add. So in this case, we're going to say Excel 3D pie dot select. Now we're going to say active chart dot set source data source. This is going to be equal to range, and between parentheses we're going to provide the name of our variable containing the range. So it's going to be SD. Then here we're going to say active chart dot chart style. This is going to be equal to 264. This is the style that we're going to use. We're now going to apply the layout. For that, we're going to say active chart dot apply layout. So we're going to say here between parentheses, we're going to use layout number 6. And now we're going to hide all of the filled buttons. For that, we're going to say active chart dot show fill buttons. This is going to be equal to false. Then we will customize the dimensions of the chart. We will also move it to the right side of the pivot table. For that, we're going to add a comment here. We're going to say customize chart dimensions, and then we're going to say here with active chart dot parent and width. Inside the width and width statement, we're going to define the dimensions. First, we're going to say dot top is going to be equal to 20 points, dot left is going to be equal to 340 points. Dot width, this is going to be equal to 350 points. Dot height, this is going to be equal to 200 points. These dimensions are going to vary depending on your requirements. Following that, we're going to customize the borders color of the chart title. So we're going to add a comment here, customize borders color of chart title. And then we're going to say with active chart, the chart title, dot format, dot line, and then here we're going to say end with. Inside the with end with statement, we're going to say for color dot RGB. This is going to be equal to RGB. Between parentheses, we're going to say 127, 127, 127. Then here we're going to say dot for color dot brightness. This is going to be equal to 0.5, and then we're going to say that transparency, this is going to be equal to 0. Once we customize the borders color of the chart title, we will proceed to customize the chart borders color. For that, we're going to add a comment here. First, let's go ahead and remove this space here, and now we're going to add a comment. We're going to say customize chart borders color, and then we're going to say here with active sheet dot shapes. Between parentheses, we're going to say active chart dot parent dot name. Here we're going to say dot line, and then we're going to close the with end with statement by typing in end with. Then we're going to copy this code and paste it inside the with end with statement for the chart borders color, and we're going to make some adjustments. Remember that this will depend on your requirements. For this scenario, I'm going to say 192, 192, 192. Then here we're going to say minus 0.5, and transparency is going to remain the same. Let's go ahead and debug the code now to see how this works. So just click anywhere inside the sub procedure and then just press F8 on your keyboard. So first we're going to add the chart. Now here we're going to assign the source data. Here we're going to change the style of the chart to style to 64. Now we're going to apply layout number 6, and we're going to hide the field buttons from the chart. Now we're going to customize the chart dimensions. So first we're going to move it up. Now we're going to, here we're going to move it up. Now we're going to move it to the right. Now we're going to change the width and the height of the chart. So here we are going to add some border to the chart title. As you can see, right now we cannot see the borders of the chart title. So once we do this, we will be able to see it. But it's too solid, so we are going to make it look less solid. So for that, we're going to apply a for color brightness of 0.5, and now we're going to make the transparency equal to 0. We're going to do the same, but this time with the chart borders. So we're going to change the color of the borders. Now we're going to change the brightness. Transparency is going to be set to 0. Consider that the type of chart that you might need to automate will depend on your requirements. That would be it for now. In our next lesson, we will be learning about array list. See you next time.